This is our third episode of really looking at these research papers, Mark, and unpacking these little nuggets, right? You know how some YouTube stars go and they look at different series and they unpack those little things for them? We're doing the same thing, but for research.
That's right. And today we're going to be looking at math anxiety, Tina.
Yeah, and so this is a really, really important topic. And you and I are like, we can't express enough how we should be talking about math anxiety. So, this again is one of our favorite papers. We've been picking papers that we love, that we find things in that we think would be of interest to teachers and that teachers and parents can start thinking about and using right away.
That's right. So do you want to pull the paper up, Tina, and we can
Yes,
get
so
started?
this is such a lovely paper. So, again, it's on math anxiety. It's called Sum of All Fears. Here's the authors, Ruff and Boes. And so, Mark, we're going to talk about four things again, right?
Four things. So number one, we're going to start with the definition, right?
Yeah. So this is just really, really important, Mark, because we're at a time where we cannot say that math anxiety doesn't exist anymore. It exists. They've
Yeah.
even got a definition here. They actually have reviewed a whole bunch of papers that say all of the definitions include an extreme negative physical, emotional, and cognitive reaction to math that hinders a person's ability to learn and perform math activities. So,
Yeah.
Mark, math anxiety is real. And these are like, there's lots of papers on it. It's real. We can't say it's not real anymore. And this is what it is.
And you know what, Tina, I just want to add one part to that. Like one of the things that teachers can notice is avoidance, is when students avoid, right?
Yeah, yeah. So one of the teachers that we work with, actually, Mark, she brought it to our attention really, really nicely when she said that she noticed that one of her students in a in a gifted classroom, actually, every time math class came around, that student was going to the washroom.
Okay. Yeah.
So these are things that we can, notice right away. It might they might be small things, but if we see someone going to the washroom every time we do math, or if we
Yeah.
see them doing all these other things, we got to start thinking, is this math anxiety, right?
Great. Okay, number two, I want to talk about a little like a quote here under academic factors that I
Oh,
thought
and so those are the causes then, Mark. So we talked about the definition, and now the second thing, and actually the third thing, are all about the causes. And these
causes.
causes are really, really important to
Yeah.
talk about too.
So I'm going to talk about the academic causes. And I really liked this one idea that, well, one of the things that we can be aware of is any sort of reliance on time tests and memorization has increased anxiety, making math a high risk activity. So
Yeah.
that was one. And the second part of this I thought was interesting, was they said traditional curriculum, which concentrates on basic skills, teacher lecture, seat work, and whole class instruction, are more likely to have students with math anxiety than math classes that utilize non traditional curriculum, which focuses on real life application and group work.
So we really want to think about how our teaching then can actually cause math anxiety,
That's
and
right.
the things, and maybe some of the things that we're doing that are specifically really linked to math anxiety, like a lot of seat work and kids sitting in like rows and that kind of
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
right?
And on their high stakes, right? That high stakes.
They're high stakes, yeah.
So number three, Tina, is social factors.
Yeah, and so we're gonna go back actually into these causes and back in the paper, because this is actually on the same page that they talk about the definition. And these social factors is really, I think it's really about parents thinking about what they're doing. So there's things that we shouldn't be saying to kids, like girls are not good at math, right? The way
Right.
that we think about education and our kids is really like how they're going to think about themselves in education in our kids,
Yeah,
right? So not telling our kids that we're not math people, right?
that's right.
We just don't let those things come out of our mouths
That's
anymore,
right.
because it's just damaging to kids. We're just going to be really clear. Don't ever tell, if you're a parent or you're a teacher, don't ever tell your kids that you're not a math person and that girls can't do math. Let's just not do that anymore,
Yeah.
okay?
Um, yeah. And lastly, the fourth thing we want to really highlight here, and I'm gonna get you to sort of highlight this, like we're not alone in this, you
No,
know?
and we shouldn't be alone in this anymore. And I think just this
Exactly.
paper itself really points to that. This paper is actually about implications for school counselors. So,
Yes,
math anxiety happens inside the classroom, but if we're parents and we're teachers, we really need to be advocating and looking for support outside of the classroom too.
right,
Okay, so looking like to counselors in different places that kids can get support. So,
right.
if you're a parent teacher, you can actually use this paper to say, hey, look, can we try maybe something like this so that it's not just on the teachers or the parents, that we have everyone involved in solutions.
Yeah.
So, Mark,
Well,
that's our fourth thing. So, if you found this interesting, Mark and I really, really want to talk about math anxiety, and we really want to take little nuggets out. We're going to talk about things that parents specifically can do. We're going to continue these talks and really pulling these things out of research papers. So, if you enjoy looking at this and watching, don't forget to actually hit that bell icon, subscribe, watch our YouTube channel, like, follow, share our videos, because the more of this that we can get out there, the less torture happens with kids and everyone else learning math. Right, Mark?
yes, absolutely. Awesome. Good work. Nice work, Tina.
Bye, Mark.